My name is Oscar Flores and I'm a fourth year film major with directing concentration. I think it's important, this month especially, it's more important to understand that the places that we come from are still with us. And it's a great reminder for anyone that grew up here or came here that your country or your heritage still matters, you know?
In the US, Latinos are perhaps one of the most underrepresented groups in our media culture. And particularly entertainment films, feature films, and dramatic or sitcom television series. I think it's important for us to acknowledge the underrepresentation, but to also be aware of the nature of how Latinos, particularly Mexican Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cuban Americans, have been depicted in the media.
The difference between Latin American cinema and American cinema is that the stories themselves are different. The societal and material conditions that produce these stories and these directors are entirely different. America is not does not have the same relationship to colonialism as Latin America does, point blank period.
I definitely identify more with depictions made in Latin America compared to in the United States, because a lot of times the depictions that are made of Latina people in the United States are really about diminishing their personality, their culture down to the stereotypes. We really get dehumanized a lot and sort of generalized into one big group. Sometimes I see depictions of Latinos who are not Mexican, labeled or identified to be Mexican. So it's really interesting how in Latin America, it's sort of like they can be depicted as just, regular people who happen to be acting. Whereas in the United States, it's the Latino people exist in that film or in that form of media to be Latino and to exist in the roles or stereotypes that are so often used in media to just sort of generalize us.
When I was a kid, I grew up with American movies that were depicting, Latino people with strong stereotypes. And obviously, since you're a kid, you know that this is not how you are, right? And the other role model that you have in Mexico, well, is telenovelas, like the soap operas, and pretty much that's just a way to a really exaggerated depiction of how a Mexican person is. It's just we lack that diversity of showing real Latino representation.
When I came to UCLA in 1992, I had the great fortune of being able to work with the Film and Television Archive, which is probably the second largest archive in the United States after the Library of Congress. This is a major collection of works, not just Hollywood, but around the world. I think it's so critical to really try to recover these works because they're important examples of how an invisible community that was quickly becoming a majority of the population in many cities around the country, and is the largest population in LA County, period. To really see their participation in film and television